Hello students, how are you all? In last class you learned the chemical properties of group 15 elements. The today's topic is dinitrogen. The dinitrogen is nothing but N2 molecule. Now let us look at the preparation of dinitrogen N2. Preparation of dinitrogen in that first method. So preparation of dinitrogen in laboratory, nothing but laboratory method. Laboratory method. This is the first one. Dinitrogen is prepared by treating ammonium chloride, aqueous solution of ammonium chloride with sodium nitrite, gives nitrogen gas. The nitrogen gas is prepared by treating aqueous solution of ammonium chloride with sodium nitrite. First let us write the equation. So first we have to take ammonium chloride NaH4Cl. So this NaH4Cl we have to dissolve in water, aqueous solution of ammonium chloride. This one we have to treat with sodium nitrite, NaNO2. Sodium nitrite it is also in aqueous medium, gives rise to, here is NaH4Cl, one nitrogen, here is one nitrogen, the element in the form of N2 gas. So N2 gas plus this chlorine and this sodium, element in the form of NaCl plus, and another product is 4 hydrogens is there. So 4 hydrogen, here is 2 oxygens. 4 hydrogens plus 2 oxygen, how many water molecule you can make? 2 water molecule. So water is liquid, this is also in aqueous solution. So we got nitrogen gas. This is the laboratory method, first method. So let us read the statement. Dinitrogen is prepared. Dinitrogen is prepared by treating aqueous solution of ammonium chloride with sodium nitrite with NaNO2. So nitrogen is prepared by treating aqueous solution of ammonium chloride with sodium nitrite. The product is nitrogen gas. This is the first method. And the second one, commercial method. This is the second method. In commercial method, nitrogen gas is obtained by liquefaction and fractional distillation of air. So in commercial method, nitrogen is obtained by liquefaction and fractional distillation of air. First we have to take air. So already we know very well that air is a mixture of gases. It contains carbon dioxide gas, it contains oxygen, and it contains nitrogen, and contains dust, etc. Right. So first this air, this is a mixture of gases, nothing but air. So first we have to remove the dust. The dust is removed by passing this air through the filters. When the air is passed through the filters, the dust is impurity, dust will get removed. Then we have the mixture of gases. Then we have to cool this gas to very low temperature. So whenever the gas is cooled to very low temperature, it will converting into liquid form. First we have to do liquefaction. So here at very low temperature, the carbon dioxide gas converting into solid CO2, solid form. Carbon dioxide converting into solid CO2. The solid CO2 is called as a dry ice. The solid CO2 is called as a dry ice. At very low temperature, whenever the air is converting into liquid form, the carbon dioxide converting into solid form, then solid CO2 is calling as a dry ice. So that liquid mixture has oxygen as well as nitrogen. So the boiling point of oxygen is 90 Kelvin. The boiling point of oxygen is 90 Kelvin, very important point. And the boiling point of nitrogen is 77.2 Kelvin. So the boiling point of nitrogen is 77.2 Kelvin and the boiling point of oxygen is 90 Kelvin. So first we converted the air into liquid form. So we got liquid oxygen and liquid nitrogen. At this time we got liquid oxygen and liquid nitrogen. Then what we have to do is we have to raise the temperature slowly. So here is oxygen is liquid, nitrogen also is liquid form. So we have to raise the temperature slowly. Whenever the temperature is raised slowly, the boiling point of oxygen is 90 Kelvin. The boiling point of nitrogen is 77.2 Kelvin. Then at 90 Kelvin, at the temperature reaches 90 Kelvin, the oxygen will get vaporizes. The oxygen converting into gas state. So it is liquid form. This is liquid form. Liquid oxygen. Here we got liquid nitrogen. So first we did the liquefaction of gases. So liquid oxygen we got, liquid nitrogen we got. Then what we are doing is we are raising the temperature. We are raising the temperature slowly. When the temperature is rises, then oxygen boiling point is 90 Kelvin, nitrogen boiling point is 77.2 Kelvin. So when the temperature reaches 90 Kelvin, the liquid oxygen converting into gas state, and nitrogen is in the form of liquid state only. Nitrogen in the form of liquid state only, because the temperature is only we are taking up to 90 Kelvin. So at 77.2 Kelvin came this liquid nitrogen is converting into gaseous form first, but oxygen converting into gaseous state. So we are able to separate oxygen from nitrogen. So this is a commercial method of preparation of nitrogen. Nitrogen gas obtained by dinitrogen. Dinitrogen is obtained. Dinitrogen is obtained by liquefaction and fractional distillation. Fractional distillation of air. Fractional distillation of air. First we are converting the air into liquid form. Air is nitrogen oxide, carbon dioxide separated as dry ice. Remaining we have oxygen and nitrogen liquid form. So we are raising the temperature. Whenever the temperature rises, at the temperature reaches 90 Kelvin, the oxygen will get converting into gaseous state. Then we are able to separate oxygen and nitrogen. So this is a commercial method preparation of nitrogen. Third one, thermal decomposition of ammonium dichromate. NaH4 taken twice, Cr2O7. Thermal decomposition of ammonium dichromate. So first I am taking ammonium dichromate. NaH4 taken twice, Cr2O7. So this one we have to thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition in the sense we have to heat it. So whenever the ammonium dichromate is heated, this is ammonium dichromate. Ammonium dichromate. So whenever the ammonium dichromate is heated, then the product is a nitrogen gas. One product we are going to get a nitrogen gas, and another product is Cr2O3 plus here is 2 4s are 8 hydrogens is there. So 8 hydrogens, how many water molecule will make? 4 water molecule, 4H2O. So this is a third method, thermal decomposition of ammonium dichromate. By thermal decomposition of ammonium dichromate you will get a dinitrogen. Next, fourth one, thermal decomposition of sodium or barium azide. Thermal decomposition of sodium or barium azide. By using this method, we are able to prepare a pure nitrogen gas. Pure nitrogen gas obtained by thermal decomposition of sodium or Thermal decomposition of sodium or barium azide. First I am taking a barium azide. Formula BaN3 taken twice. This is the formula of barium azide. So what we have to do is we have to heat it. This is barium azide. Barium azide. So upon heating the product is 3 2s are 6 nitrogens, in the sense we are able to make 3 N2 molecules. 6 nitrogens say 3 N2 molecules plus Ba. So we are going to get pure nitrogen gas. Next sodium azide, NaN3. NaN3 is the sodium azide. Sodium azide. This one also we have to do heating. Upon heating then the product is this one we have to take 2 moles. 2 3 is 6 nitrogen will get. Then we'll get 3 N2 plus 2 Na. So thermal decomposition of barium azide and sodium azide. The product we got here is nitrogen gas. Nitrogen gas. So write the statement thermal decomposition of sodium azide or barium azide gives, by this method we are able to prepare pure nitrogen, gives pure nitrogen. So this is a preparation of nitrogen by thermal decomposition of ammonium dichromate and thermal decomposition of sodium or barium azide. So this is the preparation of nitrogen. Next properties of nitrogen. In that first one is physical properties of nitrogen. Physical properties. Physical properties. Nitrogen is a colorless, odorless, tasteless gas. In that first point it is a colorless, odorless and tasteless gas. It is a colorless, odorless and tasteless gaseous compound. And the second one is nitrogen is a non-toxic. It is non-toxic substances. It is not poison, non-toxic in the sense it is not a poisonous compound. Next one is it has very low solubility in water. It has very low solubility in water. So in water nitrogen gas is very less soluble. And the next one is nitrogen has two isotopes. So one is nitrogen 714 and second one is nitrogen 715. It has two isotopes. They are, the first one is nitrogen 714, one isotope. And the second one is nitrogen 715. Nitrogen has two isotopes, nitrogen 714, nitrogen 715. And another important point is its boiling point. The boiling point of nitrogen is 77.2 Kelvin. The boiling point of nitrogen is 77.2 Kelvin. So these are the some physical properties of dinitrogen. Dinitrogen is colorless, odorless and tasteless gaseous element, and it is a non-toxic. And it has a very low solubility in water. Solubility in water is very less. It has two isotopes, nitrogen 714, nitrogen 715. And the boiling point of nitrogen is dinitrogen. You can use simply wrote nitrogen. It is nothing but dinitrogen, N2 gas. So we are discussing about properties of N2, nitrogen gas. So simply nitrogen, properties of nitrogen. So its boiling point is 77.2 Kelvin. So these are the physical properties of nitrogen. Next chemical properties of dinitrogen. Dinitrogen is chemically inert at room temperature because of its high bond dissociation enthalpy. So first let us take N2 molecule. This is N2 molecule. The molecule converting into their atoms, respect to atoms, nothing but nitrogen molecule converting into nitrogen atoms required high energy. So because between the two nitrogen atoms there is a triple bond. Between the two nitrogen atoms there is a triple bond. To separate these two nitrogen we must break this triple bond. To break this triple bond required very high energy. That energy is 941.4 kilojoule per mole. So 941.4 kilojoule per mole energy required to break triple bond between the two nitrogen atoms. Because of the high bond dissociation enthalpy, nitrogen is chemically inert. Simply it does not participate in the chemical reactions at room temperature. So this is endothermic. Endothermic. Energy is supplied to break the bonds between them, so that energy is absorbed. So it is endothermic. Energy is released in the sense exothermic. So nitrogen is chemically inert at room temperature because of high bond dissociation enthalpy. Then it will be react with elements at higher temperature. If the temperature is very high, the nitrogen can react. At room temperature it do not react because of high bond dissociation enthalpy. Let us see some reactions. So reaction with metals. First I am taking a reaction with metals. Nitrogen directly combined with lithium and magnesium at a high temperature. At high temperature, nitrogen directly combined with metals like lithium and magnesium forms nitrides. So example I am taking first lithium. Lithium react with nitrogen. The product is Li3N2. So the product we are going to get here is nitrides. Nitrides we are going to get. One is here is the lithium nitride, and if it react with magnesium, we will get magnesium nitride. So this is at a high temperature, heat. So we have to balance it. This we can take 6, this we can take 3, this we can take 2. So lithium react with nitrogen at high temperature will produce lithium nitride. Next magnesium. Magnesium react with nitrogen will produce magnesium nitride, Mg3N2. So this is you can take 3 Mg. So the point is at room temperature nitrogen do not react with any other element because of its high bond dissociation enthalpy at room temperature. But it react with elements at a higher temperature. In that the first one is a reaction with metals. The second one is a reaction with hydrogen. Reaction with hydrogen. Nitrogen reacts with hydrogen, forms ammonia in Haber process. Nitrogen gas react with hydrogen. So I am taking 3H2, it is also gaseous form, gives rise to ammonia, NH3, 2 moles. This is also a gaseous form. So nitrogen react with hydrogen to form ammonia. So here standard enthalpy formation of this ammonia is minus 46.1 kilojoule per mole. So this reaction is an exothermic reaction. Heat is energy is liberated. Energy is liberated in the sense this is exothermic reaction. So here nitrogen react with hydrogen leading to the formation of ammonia in presence of catalyst. Next third one. Reaction with oxygen. Reaction with oxygen. Nitrogen react with oxygen at very high temperature. Temperature must be very high. So nitrogen react with oxygen at a very high temperature, leading to the formation of nitric oxide. So at room temperature nitrogen do not react because of high bond dissociation enthalpy. So that we need to supply high temperature, high energy. So I am taking nitrogen the gaseous state plus it will react with oxygen also in the form of gaseous state. Then the product what we are going to expect is nitric oxide, NO. So NO is also a gaseous compound. This reaction takes place at a very high temperature. So these are the reactions of dinitrogen with elements like metals, reaction with metals, reaction with hydrogen, and reaction with oxygen. So these are the certain reactions of dinitrogen. Next, uses of dinitrogen. In that first one, dinitrogen will be used for the manufacture of ammonia. It is the first one. It is used for manufacture of ammonia, nothing but NH3. So nitrogen will be used for the manufacture of ammonia. This is the first use. The second one is it is used to create a inert atmosphere. It is used to create a inert It is used to create a inert atmosphere, especially in the case of iron and steel industry. Iron and steel industry required inert atmosphere. So because nitrogen do not react at room temperature, so to create inert atmosphere, so we will use nitrogen. Example, iron and steel industry. Iron and steel industry. The next one is liquid nitrogen is used as a refrigerant. Liquid nitrogen is used as a refrigerant to preserve biological materials or food items, and liquid nitrogen used in the cryosurgery. It is simply liquid nitrogen used as refrigerant to preserve biological materials, and food items. To preserve food items and in cryosurgery. So these are the some importance of liquid nitrogen. These are the importance of dinitrogen. Next, ammonia. Its formula is NH3. In that first one is preparation of ammonia. So first method, preparation of ammonia by Haber's process. Manufacturing of ammonia by Haber's process. This is the first one. Haber's process. So for PUC point of view, manufacture of ammonia by Haber's process very important. For PUC point of view, manufacture of ammonia by Haber's process very important. Now, nitrogen react with hydrogen in presence of iron oxide as a catalyst and with small amount of Al2O3 and K2O, and at temperature around 700 Kelvin and pressure around 200 atmospheres gives ammonia. First, write the equation. Nitrogen, it is a gaseous state. Nitrogen react with hydrogen 3H2. Nitrogen react with hydrogen 3H2 gives rise to in presence of catalyst as iron oxide. Iron oxide as a catalyst with small amount of Al2O3 plus K2. Small amount of Al2O3 and K2O, and the temperature around 700 Kelvin, and the pressure around 200 atmospheres. 200 into 10 power 5 pascals, so around 200 atmospheres pressure gives ammonia 2NH3. It is a gases. So the standard enthalpy formation of ammonia, the standard enthalpy formation of ammonia is equal to minus 46.1 kilojoule per mole. So this is the standard enthalpy formation of ammonia. Now let us write the statement relating to it. Nitrogen react with hydrogen in presence of iron oxide as a catalyst with small amount of Al2O3 and K2O, temperature around 700 Kelvin and pressure around 200 atmospheres gives ammonia. Nitrogen reacts with hydrogen. Nitrogen react with hydrogen in presence of iron oxide. In presence of iron oxide as catalyst. Iron oxide as catalyst with small amount of Al2O3 plus K2O and temperature, and at the temperature around 700 Kelvin and the pressure is 200 atmospheres. Pressure is 200 atmospheres gives gives ammonia. So this is the flowchart for manufacturing of ammonia for Haber process. This is the flowchart. Look at this. So here I am taking nitrogen gas. So nitrogen gas is pumping from here. I am taking here is a hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas is passing through we are passing hydrogen gas through this one, and nitrogen gas passing here. So the nitrogen gas, hydrogen gas, we have to pass it into a compressor. This is a compressor. Its pressure around 20 MPa. So simply around 200 atmospheres. The pressure around 200 atmospheres, or I can take as 200 into 10 power 5 pascals. Pressure is around, otherwise you can take 200 atmosphere, meaning is remains the same. So first nitrogen gas and hydrogen gas were passing into a compressor at the pressure is around 200 atmosphere. So the nitrogen and hydrogen gas get compressed. After compression, this is the flowing of gas like this. After compression of the gas, this gas is passed into the another chamber. The gas is passed into another chamber that contains iron oxide catalyst. That contains iron oxide catalyst with small amount of Al2O3 plus K2O. With small amount of Al2O3 and K2O. So what is the gas we are getting? Mixture of N2 and mixture of nitrogen and hydrogen gas is compressed. The compressed gas we have to pass it into the chamber containing iron oxide as a catalyst with small amount of Al2O3 and K2O. So this gas, whenever this nitrogen and hydrogen combines in presence of iron oxide as a catalyst, leading to the formation of ammonia. The product we are going to get is N2 plus 3H2 gives rise to 2NH3. The product is ammonia we got. This ammonia formed. So into another chamber, here is we are going to get liquid ammonia. So this is a liquid ammonia. So we are passing N2 and H2. Any N2 and H2 is not reacted here. So all the N2 and H2 molecule may not be reacted. So what is the unreacted nitrogen hydrogen gas will come out here. This is the unreacted N2 plus H2. This gas will come outside and passing into the another chamber that contains pump. This is the pump. So unreacted N2 and H2 passing into the pump. This pump will pass this mixture into the iron oxide catalyst Al2 with the Al2O3 and K2O. So this is a flow chart for manufacturing of ammonia by manufacturing of ammonia by Haber process. First we have to take nitrogen hydrogen gas, we have to pass into the compressor, the gas is get compressed, that gas is passed into the another chamber that contains iron oxide as a catalyst with a small amount of Al2O3 and K2O. Here nitrogen and hydrogen react each other, will form ammonia, so they will get liquid ammonia. Any unreacted N2 and H2 will be left, that will be passed into the pump again pump this mixture into iron chamber containing iron oxide and small amount of Al2O3 and K2O. So this process will be get continuously. Now finally we will get here is ammonia. So this is the flowchart for manufacturing of ammonia by Haber's process. So this is the equation. Next, optimum conditions for the formation of ammonia. Optimum conditions for the manufacturing of ammonia by Haber process. In that first one is use of iron oxide with small amount of Al2O3 and K2O. Use as a iron oxide as a catalyst and with small amount of Al2O3 is optimum condition. Here the use of iron oxide with small amount of Al2O3 with K2O is to achieve the equilibrium faster. To achieve equilibrium faster, we are using iron oxide with small amount of Kal2O3 plus K2O. So, one optimum condition is iron oxide is a catalyst with small amount of Al2O3 and K2O. Iron oxide as catalyst, iron oxide catalyst with small amount of Al2O3 plus K2O. Iron oxide as catalyst with small amount of Al2O3 plus K2O. This is one optimum condition. Next one is the temperature around 700 Kelvin. Temperature around 700 Kelvin. This is another optimum condition for the manufacturing of ammonia by Haber process. Another optimum condition is pressure around 200 atmosphere. Pressure is 200 atmosphere, or you can take 200 into 10 power 5 pascals. So these are the optimum conditions, very important for PUC. So what are the optimum conditions for the manufacturing of ammonia in Haber process? The first one is iron oxide as a catalyst with small amount of Al2O3 plus K2O. Next one is temperature around 700 Kelvin. Next one is pressure is 200 atmosphere or 200 into 10 power 5 pascals. These are the optimum conditions. Next, favorable conditions. Favorable conditions for favorable conditions for the manufacturing of ammonia by Haber process. According to Le-Chatelier principle, low temperature and high pressure. High pressure and low temperatures are the favorable conditions for the manufacturing of ammonia by Haber process. So whenever the pressure is increases, here is number of moles of gases reactant. How many? This is 1 mole and this is 2 moles. The total number of moles how many is there? 4 moles is there. Here products are how many moles of gas products is there? 2 moles is there. So whenever the pressure is increases, the equilibrium shift towards the right hand side. So the high pressure is favorable for manufacturing of ammonia. Pressure is increases, more amount of ammonia is going to get formed. And this is a exothermic reaction. Look at this reaction. The standard formation of ammonia is minus 46. So this is a exothermic reaction. So due to exothermic reaction, we have to use low temperature. Low temperature and high pressure. Low temperature and high pressure are favorable conditions for manufacturing of ammonia. So according to Le-Chatelier principle, according to Le-Chatelier principle, high pressure and low temperature. High pressure and low temperature are favorable conditions for manufacture of ammonia. So these are the optimum conditions and these are the favorable conditions for the manufacturing of ammonia. Next, we are here getting liquid ammonia. If any moisture is present in the liquid ammonia, we have to dry it. The moisture present in the ammonia is dried by using quicklime, CaO, by using calcium oxide. So the ammonia is dried by using quicklime, but we cannot use dehydrating agents like sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid we cannot use, and calcium chloride, CaCl, anhydrous CaCl we can use, or P4O10 we cannot use because they will react with ammonia. Ammonia is dried by nothing but ammonia is dried by removing water, removing moisture. So any moisture present in the ammonia is dried by using quicklime, using CaO, and ammonia cannot be dried by concentrated H2SO4, or you can take CaCl2, anhydrous CaCl2, or you can P4O10, because they will react with ammonia. So this is the manufacture of ammonia by Haber's process. In that we manufacture ammonia by Haber process, nitrogen react with hydrogen in presence of iron oxide as catalyst with small amount of Al2O3 and K2O. Temperature around 700 Kelvin, pressure around 200 atmosphere gives ammonia, and the Standard formation of ammonia is minus 46.1 kilojoule per mole. Optimum conditions are iron oxide as a catalyst with small amount of Al2O3 and K2O, and temperature around 700 Kelvin, pressure around 200 atmosphere. These are the optimum conditions, very important for PU segment. What are the optimum conditions for the manufacturing ammonia by Haber's process? Next, favorable conditions. According to Leach cycle principle, high pressure is high and temperature is very low, then more amount of ammonia is going to get formed. So these are the favorable conditions. So any moisture present in the ammonia, the ammonia can be dried. That moisture is removed by using a quicklime, CaO, calcium oxide. By using quicklime you can remove the moisture. Next, ammonia cannot be dried by using sulfuric acid, anhydrous calcium chloride, P4O10, because they react with ammonia. So this is manufacturing of ammonia by Haber's process. Next, ammonia present in the air and soil, where it is formed by the decay of nitrogenous organic matter. So ammonia present in the air and soil, it is formed by decay of nitrogenous organic matter. This is the second one. It is formed by decay of nitrogenous organic matter. Example, I am taking urea. NH2 C double bond O NH2. This is urea. H2O gives rise to NH4 taken twice CO3. This one decomposes to give 2 NH3 plus CO2 plus H2O. So these are the product formed in the reaction. The final product is we are going to get ammonia. The third one is from ammonium salts. First I am taking ammonium chloride, NH4Cl. So ammonium chloride will be treated with calcium hydroxide. Then the product is here I'm taking this is 2 times, the product is 2NH3 plus 2H2O plus Ca, and there are 2 chlorines, Ca and 2 chlorines in the form of CaCl2. That is the product formula. Next I'm taking ammonium sulfate, NH4 taken twice, SO4. Ammonium sulfate is treating with sodium hydroxide. So ammonium salts are treated with the bases like calcium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide here. Then the product is NH3. So 2 moles of ammonia plus Na2SO4. Na2SO4 plus 2H2O. So this is another method of preparation of ammonia from ammonium salts. So these are the preparation of ammonia. Next, structure of ammonia. Structure of ammonia. Right. So first I am drawing the structure of ammonia. It has a nitrogen attached to 3 hydrogens. 3 hydrogens are attached to nitrogen, and there is a one lone pair present on the nitrogen. So in that first point, so by looking at the structure of the shape of the ammonia is a trigonal pyramidal. It is trigonal pyramidal. Shape of molecule or shape of ammonia is trigonal pyramidal. The shape of the molecule is a trigonal pyramidal. Next point, in ammonia molecule it contains one lone pair. This is one lone pair is present. These are the 1, 2, 3. So these are the bond pairs. It contains one lone pair and 3 bond pairs. One lone pair. It contains one lone pair and 3 bond pairs. It contains one lone pair and 3 bond pairs. The angle between any 2 bond pairs, you can take angle between any 2 bond pairs, you can take as 107.8 degrees. The 107.8 degrees. Third point, the bond angle is 107.8 degrees, and the bond length, NH bond length is 101.7. You can take nanometers. Sorry, this is picometers. 101.7 picometers. The bond length, the length between the nitrogen and hydrogen, 101.7 picometers. NH bond length is 101.7 picometers. So this is some structural representation of ammonia molecule. Ammonia molecule has a trigonal pyramidal shape. It has trigonal pyramidal shape, and it contains one lone pair of electrons and 3 bond pairs. 1, 2, 3 bond pair of electrons. Next, the bond angle is 107.8 degrees. The bond angle between the any two atoms in a molecule. That means this bond angle. The bond angle is 107.8 degrees, and the bond length, NH bond length is 101.7 picometers. This is the structure of ammonia molecule. Next, properties of ammonia. In that, first one is physical properties of ammonia. Physical properties. In that first point, ammonia is a colorless gas with pungent odor. This is the first point. Ammonia is a colorless gas with pungent odor. So colorless gas with pungent odor. Pungent smell will get and it is a colorless compound. Next one is its freezing point is 195.2 Kelvin. Its freezing point. Its freezing point is 195.2 Kelvin. Its freezing point is 195.2 Kelvin, and its boiling point is 239.7 Kelvin. Its boiling point is 239.7 Kelvin. And next one is it is soluble in water. It is soluble, highly soluble in water. It is simply soluble in water. It is highly soluble in water. So these are the some physical properties of ammonia. Next one is chemical properties. Chemical properties. That first point. Ammonia, aqueous solution of ammonia is a weakly basic in nature due to presence of OH minus ion in aqueous solution. So aqueous solution of ammonia is weakly basic in nature. Basic in nature due to presence of OH minus ions. Due to presence of OH minus ions. What I meaning is I am taking ammonia. So NH3 dissolving in water. Whenever the ammonia is dissolved in the water, the product is ammonium hydroxide, NH4OH, in aqueous solution. In aqueous solution, this ammonium hydroxide is dissociated into NH4 plus OH minus. Due to presence of this OH minus, the ammonia aqueous solution of ammonia is basic in nature. Even itself, ammonia is a basic compound. So ammonia itself is a basic compound because of presence of lone pair. So due to presence of lone pair on the nitrogen, ammonia is a basic in nature. Whenever the ammonia is dissolved in the water, then they will form ammonium hydroxide, and ammonium hydroxide dissociation ammonium NH4 plus and OH minus. Due to presence of this OH minus in aqueous solution, it is weakly basic in nature. And next one is reaction with ZnSO4. Reaction with ZnSO4. So, ammonia react with ZnSO4 forms salts. I am taking ZnSO4. This is in aqueous medium taking. In aqueous medium, single ammonia molecule does not exist. Ammonia exists in the form of ammonium hydroxide. So that in the case of properties, I am taking ammonium hydroxide, NH4OH. So why should you take NH4OH? Why you are not taking NH3 here? Because whenever the ammonia is dissolved in the water, converting into ammonium hydroxide. So that we have to take ammonium hydroxide. Then the product is this I am taking 2 times. Then the product is ZnOH taken twice plus NH4 taken twice SO4. NH4 taken twice SO4. Here is a white PPT. This is a white PPT is formed. This is the one reaction. Next one is a reaction with FeCl3. Reaction with FeCl3. So I am taking FeCl3 plus NH4OH. FeCl3 plus NH4OH. Then the product is Fe2O3XH2O plus NH4Cl. So here is a brown. This is a brown color. Brown color compound will get formed. So FeCl3 react with ammonia, nothing but ammonium hydroxide taking here. I already said the ammonia converting into ammonium hydroxide. The product is Fe2O3XH2O brown color compound is going to get formed. This is another reaction. Next, detection of metal ions. Detection of metal ions such as Cu plus 2 Ag plus. Detection of metal ions such as Cu plus 2 and Ag plus. First I am taking Cu plus 2. In aqueous solution, Cu plus 2 is blue color. It is blue color. This one react with ammonia NH3 4 times, leading the formation of CuNH3 taken 4 times, and the complex is a +2 charge. It is also aqueous, it is a deep blue color. Deep blue color. So if you look at, by looking at the reaction, here is a Cu plus 2n is a blue in color, and blue color converting into deep blue color. Here ammonia react with metal ions. So upon the nitrogen there is a lone pair of electrons in ammonia molecule. So in ammonia molecule, upon the nitrogen there is a lone pair of electron. This nitrogen, the ammonia molecule donate a lone pair of electrons to the metal ions. So it will donate a lone pair of electron. Lone pair of electron donor is called as a base. So it will donate a lone pair of electrons to the metal ions, form coordinate covalent compounds. So it donates lone pair of electrons to the metal ion from the coordinate covalent bond. As a result, coordinate covalent compounds are formed. So if whenever the aqueous solution of Cu plus 2n, blue color turned into deep blue color, will react with ammonia, that indicates the presence of Cu plus 2 ions. So ammonia react with Cu plus 2n with blue color converting into deep blue color. So detection of this Cu plus 2 ions, we can use the reaction with ammonia. Next one is Ag plus. Ag plus in aqueous solution. Ag plus plus Cl minus in aqueous gives rise to AgCl. This is a solid. So here is a Ag plus in is a colorless. It is a colorless. AgCl is a white PPT. It is a white PPT. White PPT. Then this AgCl, white PPT, will be react with ammonia 2 moles. I'm taking the product is Ag NH3 taken 2 times with Cl. This is in aqueous. So this is in also aqueous. So here is Ag NH3 taken twice is colorless. So Ag plus n is colorless, converting into white PPT, and ammonia react with this AgCl, leading the formation of colorless Ag NH3 taken by Cl. So coordination compound. So by using this test, we are able to identify the Ag plus ions in the solution. Here also this is NaH4OH aqueous. It is also a aqueous. Aqueous. This is a solid. Here this is a aqueous. It is also a aqueous. Fe2O3X2O. It is brown PPT. And this is a aqueous. So this is the preparation of this is the chemical properties of ammonia. In that chemical property, ammonia can act as a base. So due to presence of lone pair of electrons upon the nitrogen, there is a lone pair of electron. Because of this lone pair, it can act as a Lewis base. In aqueous solution, ammonia can exist in the form of ammonia hydroxide. Due to presence of ammonia hydroxide dissociation to OH minus, as a result in aqueous solution of ammonia is weakly basic in nature due to presence of OH minus ions. So this is chemical properties of ammonia. Next, uses of ammonia. In that first one, ammonia is used to produce nitrogenous fertilizers like ammonium sulfate, ammonium phosphate, ammonium nitrate, urea, etc. It is used to produce nitrogenous fertilizers. The second one, it is used in the manufacturing of inorganic nitrogen compounds. Used in the manufacture of some inorganic nitrogen compounds. Inorganic nitrogen compounds, nothing but you can take nitric acid. Example, nitric acid. Third one, liquid ammonia is used as a refrigerant. Liquid ammonia is used as refrigerant. So liquid ammonia used as a refrigerant. So these are the some uses of ammonia. Next class I will come on with another continuation topic.